The Producer Spotlight with Mr. Instro.
You can be a beat maker and not be a music producer. But when you're a music producer, you don't have to be a beat maker.
Only on the element.
Only on the element. I'm so excited.
Oh my God. Oh, that sounds so good, bro.
I'm so excited. It's been a while since we've given you the Producer Spotlight. We had quite a lot going on. Nonetheless, we are here though. And Mr. Instro is here.
I'm here.
How are you?
Sure, I am happy to be back. It's been a minute, yo. Sure, it's been a.
So what's been happening? Has your beard been growing? What's going on?
I've been trying to just, keep things together. Oh, and I'm back in studio. Yeah, so I'm making some music. So very excited about that. But other than that, we're still pushing Massive Metro as usual, doing our thing, and I'm just excited to be back to do another installment of the Producer Spotlight. And because it has been a while, maybe I just need to give you a refresher on how this works. So every Wednesday, Mr. Instro comes through. He selects a really incredible producer or group of producers and spotlights them. We take a look at the work that they've done. We take a look at some of the business moves that they have made, and also some of their life philosophies as well, and take away as much as we possibly can. So you can catch us on @Mr_Instro on all social media platforms. That would of course be Instro. I am @Queen Aziza, and we are at The Element SA. That is our Twitter plug, and then you can find us on @MassiveMetro on Facebook as well as Instagram. All right, Mr. Instro, whomst are we looking at tonight? So these guys are like legendary.
Yes.
Okay. I think they epitomize what it means to be a producer group. The last time we spoke about producer groups, we spoke about them cats from Atlanta, the guys that really did like a significant amount of hip hop music for the South, worked with Outkast and did some amazing things, which they are really like the people that really started it. But the people that pioneered this group producer thing is J.U.S.T.I.C.E League. And that's who we are checking out today.
All right, checking out J.U.S.T.I.C.E League tonight. I've got a very short bio because I really want Mr. Instro to show off because it's been a bit of a while. So, hailing from Tampa, Florida, the three-man heat-making machine that is J.U.S.T.I.C.E League consists of Erik Roots Ortiz, Kevin Colione Crowe, and Kenny Bartolomei. Now, with the ability to recreate samples precisely, J.U.S.T.I.C.E League combines their hip-hop sensibility with the superpower of shape-shifting. Yo, whoever wrote this at Hot New Hip Hop, you're flexing, but we love it. But we love it. So in 2005, they won a Grammy for their contribution to Mary J. Blige's The Breakthrough, and they've worked quite extensively with Rick Ross, giving the rapper some of his greatest tracks, such as Luxury Tax, Maybach Music, and I'm Not a Star, just to name a few. And then in 2016, J.U.S.T.I.C.E League released their debut studio album, Justice for All, which had features from the likes of Lupe Fiasco and Drake. That is who we are looking at tonight. Where are we going to start, Mr. Instro?
Let's start at the beginning. So these guys got together officially in 2003.
Right.
So Rook and Colione. How do you say it?
You gotta say it like a mafia movie. Corleone, like Don Corleone, like the Godfather.
Okay. Yeah. So those are the two original members. They were, doing their thing together, and then Kenny's the last person who sort of joined the group, and he's like the guy for me because he's from Full Sail University. Does that sound familiar? Full Sail University. Did
we not look it up the other time?
We did.
That really, really high-tech, super expensive. I remember.
Boom. So he's from Full Sail University. That's the same school that London on the Track went to.
Yes, and they've got their own studios and stuff in there, like top-notch facilities.
Prestigious, beautiful university where you can learn a lot of things. And obviously, now that they've got this third element with, the knowledge and the expertise that comes from the music theory, now they became like a super powerhouse, okay?
Right.
Because Rook is like he's like the OG. And I would go as far as to say Rook is like the leader, because you see him being the most vocal. Okay. And if you follow Justice League on Twitter, apparently he's the one that controls the Twitter account.
All right, I get you. So he basically controls the narrative of how they're publicly viewed.
There you go.
Right.
So even in the interviews, you always see Rook, and to a certain degree, I think that's smart, because at the end of the day, it drives one message.
Yes.
You are three minds, but it's always important to have like a common denominator.
Yes.
Something that'll put things into one pot and drive one message. So that's important, right? And so the three of them, right, got together 2003, made these amazing songs together. I think it's important for me to mention that when you are in a group and you have the kind of dynamics that they have, it's a beautiful thing, because on the one hand, people like Rook are being taught the music theory aspect of making music. I mean, Kenny's from Full Sail, you know, so he obviously got the music theory on lock. But also, it's a nice learning curve for Kenny himself to unlearn some of the things that he was taught in university, because because music is diverse like that.
Right.
You always have to keep an open mind and understand that things at school are there to guide you.
100%.
But it's not necessarily the end all and be all of everything. So it's nice to be in a group, especially a group of producers who you can learn from the textbook, and you can unlearn from the textbook
in as well.
Exactly. So that's what gives them so much power, and that's what makes their sound so clean and so I guess full and big.
Right.
Because there's always that element of, okay, you guys actually replayed this sample exactly the way it is.
Yeah.
And you have to have some theory in order to understand how to recreate those sounds. So big shout out to the guys for being so balanced, and understanding each other on that level.
All right, so that's how we kick things off. It is the producer spotlight. Tonight we're taking a look at J.U.S.T.I.C.E League. We're definitely back, and we're not going anywhere for quite a while. So we're going to take a quick music break. We're going to give you some J-Rock and Kendrick Lamar with Hood Gon' Love It. Then we're going to come back with more knowledge as far as these producers are concerned. Only on The Element, we're back. Just in case you missed it just now, Mr. Instro and I are back. This is the producer spotlight. It comes at you every single Wednesday. The past couple of Wednesdays has been a little bit tricky, but we gave you time to miss us, and we're coming back with nothing but straight heat. So we just gave you some music by our producers for tonight. J-Rock and Kendrick Lamar coming through with Hood Gon' Love It. And the way that the producer spotlight works is that for this hour, you're only going to be hearing music produced by our producers that we are spotlighting for this evening. And we're taking a look at J.U.S.T.I.C.E League. All right. There's something that you need to tell me about sampling.
Yes.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so we have the art of sampling, right?
Right.
Where this is like typical way of making music as like a hip-hop music producer, where you just chop a sample and then you put some drums on it, and some put a bass line and whatever. So J.U.S.T.I.C.E League now has this unique way of sampling, right? But it's not sampling. Okay. So that's why we have to give it a definition, and that definition is unsampling.
How do you sample and what are you saying?
Okay, so how you unsample is that you hear a sample. Like for instance, Rook, right? He's the sample guy. He'll hear a song and he'll be like, yeah, this is the perfect loop.
Okay.
And then he'll chop the loop, and now the intricate part about it is that they will try and sort of like dissect this sample.
Okay.
So if there's a guitar playing there, and if there is some Fender Rhodes playing there, they'll try and identify everything that's happening in that sample.
Okay.
And what they'll do is they will replay everything.
Hectic.
Right? So all of it comes from, you know, the problem that came with sample clearance. Okay, when you sample, okay, which is like a typical hip hop thing to do, them label cats come at you, and they come at you hard.
Yes.
Okay, they can come and take up to 100% of your publishing. Right, classic example is Fabulous. In fact, with Fabulous, it was particularly bad because they even charged them for the video.
Hold on. Yo, this is a lot of money talk. We're going to take a quick money break, and then you're going to come back and tell me more about this Fabulous story.
Cool.
I'm stressed. All right, we're straight back into it. Crazy story about Fabulous and Breathe. What?
You guys are familiar with the song Breathe, right?
Of course, yes.
Yes. So, what Fabulous did, the mistake that he made is that he dropped the song without clearing the sample first, right? And it's something that a lot of us music producers are cool to do.
Okay.
Conventionally, like, they don't stress, these labels don't stress too much about, you know, you clearing it after the fact.
Okay.
But because at that time it was at the height of the success of hip-hop music, right? When Fabulous released Breathe, he wasn't going to make anything less than $1 million just off of the song itself.
Right.
So it's important for whoever was sampled to be compensated.
Right.
But they took it to a very painful level. You know, not only did they take 100% of the publishing, but they charged him for everything that the song would do. Do you understand? Song had a video, they charged them for it. You know, and it's a painful thing to go through, especially if you're going through a song that's big. Yes. You know, and they're just taking all of your hard work and all of the efforts to get it where it was, and they're just chilling. They're chilling and they're just taking the money. But you know, it's the price that you have to pay in order to not clear the sample. So what Justice League do is they'll listen to the sample. So when you replay it, that means you are creating a new piece of work.
100%.
Right? So you can't claim it. If I can prove that I replayed this music, you cannot claim that it's yours. 100%. So what they would do, it's so brilliant because it teaches you to have like a very sharp ear. You know, you have to be able to recognize how things sound and how exactly they were recorded. So basically, when you have this sample loop, right, you have to listen to the signal path of that guitar. Okay. Is it a nylon guitar? Is it an electric guitar? Is it an acoustic guitar? Okay. What mic was recorded with this acoustic guitar? Yo. What is the room? What is the reverb that they use to get that guitar to sound like that? Do you understand where I'm going with this? You know?
That's pretty intense.
It's very intense. It's very, very intense, which is why I believe that it wouldn't be as easy or doable for them if it was just one person. You know, it had to be a collaborative effort so that you're able to, first of all, experiment with the sounds that you're hearing, and secondly, to be able to identify the things, the mechanics that go around recreating this sample.
That makes me think of one of our producer spotlights from a while ago where you were speaking about the importance of knowing the names of things as well, because you wouldn't be able to identify all of those things if you thought it was just a thingy and a doohickey and all the rest.
Absolutely. It's very, very important to know how to label things, to have the jargon, because sometimes you'll find that it's funny. I was actually having a conversation with Stefan the other day, and he was saying, shout out to my dude Black Steph, and he was saying that, like, when he sees a nice effect, because he's a video guy, he just goes and he's like, yo, how did they do that?
Right.
And then because he has the jargon to go and look up that effect, it's easy for him to go and learn straight from YouTube how to do that.
You're right.
And he was like, how do you guys do it, like with the sound? Like, and I was like, exactly
the same process.
It's exactly the same thing. You know, you have to understand what you are hearing and be able to translate that and give it like some kind of definition so that you can start searching for it. You understand? So these guys would sit and listen to a bunch of strings and a bunch of orchestral sounds and be like, yeah, okay, this is Bach, let's go and sample and recreate this sound, you know, and use the room. You know, there was a project that Anderson Paak was working on. Actually, it's the one, I think it's the one that...
The Silk Sonic one.
The Silk Sonic one that recently came out. Some of the drums that were recorded from there are drums, it's exactly the same drum kit that Marvin Gaye's band was using. Same studio, same drums. Why? To get that feel, to get that soulful feel. So if you're like an audiophile, right? That's what they call them. If you're an that's what they call.
We needed that.
Right. That's what they call them. If you're an audiophile, you are passionate about not just the sound, but how the sound is created.
Yes.
You know, and I feel like it's a beautiful process of sound engineering to be able to just be a scholar of how sounds are created. So essentially that is what is called unsampling. So you are sampling,
but not really.
But you're not, because you are replaying the music, you know, and it's so important for producers to at least understand what they are sampling so that they have the knowledge of what to do to clear their samples.
Right.
I'm definitely one to talk about sampling, because I love hiding samples. It's almost like an art of its own, you know. My dude Speaker speaks about sample snitching, right? And you don't really want to find yourself in a situation where, especially us in the South African context, where the sample that you've used is noticeable. Yes. Because you will get in trouble. You know, you will get snitched on.
Hey, and in Cyril's economy.
Exactly. You don't want to find yourself, you know, not having 100% of publishing because you were not careful with your sampling. And there are a couple of ways that you can hide your samples.
Okay. Are these the crib notes?
Okay. Yes.
Yee.
Definitely.
Here come the crib notes. Okay.
So, if you would like to hide your samples, here's what you can do. The first is you can reverse your samples. Okay.
All right. So reverse the sample. All right.
In fact, that's what most of us do. If you reverse your sample, it'll not only create a new sound, but it'll also accentuate the instrumental that you're playing, right? It'll create a completely new melody.
Okay.
So reverse it. Like, in fact, that's the first thing that you need to do when you get a loop. Like, see, when you reverse it, see what happens.
All right. Okay, cool. So reverse the sample. What's the next one?
The second one is transpose.
Transpose.
Yes. So,
okay, so for us laymen, what does that mean?
So transposing means that you move the sample from one
Yeah.
I just thought of something really funny.
Okay.
But yeah, it's fine. It's moving the sample from one key to another.
All right.
Say for instance, we're listening to like a rocking with the best beat.
Oh God, yes.
Right. So when you listen to that beat, I can tell that the sample was transposed.
Okay.
It's not playing at the original who's this guy? James Brown sample.
Right.
Okay. I can hear that it's a James Brown sample, but I know that it has been transposed and cut really, really well.
Yeah.
Right? So that it doesn't sort of like you can't really catch them out. You can't snitch.
So wait, you figured it out because you were asking me. I wonder how that sample worked out.
Yeah.
When you were talking about the Inve Rocky with the bass. Okay.
Yeah. You have to. I mean, if
I don't know. I was just like, okay, it was on chat.
no, like it's a passion to try and figure out how people made songs. That's why you get tight beats.
Yes.
You get a Timberland type beat,
yes,
because people are genuinely passionate. They're not even interested in selling beats. They just want to figure out what the producer was thinking,
yes,
in that process when they were making the music, right?
Right.
Cool. So the last one. Okay, so first
reverse the sample. Yes.
Secondly, transpose.
Yeah.
And then lastly, replay.
Okay, that sounds simple, but I know it's not.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's exactly what Justice League do. You know, if you're really trying to not get penalized for, samples, and you're trying to get these labels off your back, you have to learn how to replay, even if the melody is a guitar, and then you play it on the piano. That also adds to it as a new work. Okay,
right.
They'll try and say no, but the melody in a way is the same and whatever. But if you're playing a different instrumental, how can they know that it's where you got the melody from?
Right.
Do you understand? It becomes a bit more complex for them to try and prove it. And that's the beauty of hip hop. We try and manipulate and recreate, even with the fashion. You'll see that a lot of the stuff always comes back.
Yeah, that's true.
Stuff from the 90s, stuff from the 80s. There's always like a re-emergence of whatever hip hop represents, and that's what's beautiful about it. And there's always a touch of creativity, a touch of newness within whatever is being sampled.
Yeah.
So I think as producers, especially hip hop producers, we have to have the mindset of how it was originally done. That's why a lot of us are so in tune with hip hop history,
yes,
because you have to understand how it started and then add whatever is in your generation to make it even better.
I love that. All right, we're going to take another quick music break. Nas with no introduction. And then we come back. It is the producer Spotlight taking a look at Justice League. All right, we're going straight back into it because we've got quite a lot to cover. The producer Spotlight taking a look at Justice League. All right, so you wanted to tell me a couple of things.
Yes.
Starting first with high-end sounds.
Yes. When you listening to what we just listened to now.
Yes.
Nas, no introduction, right? That sounds like a song that's like got like a whole orchestra,
yes,
playing, like very big sound, right? And I have to say, that sound isn't possible if you don't have high-end sounds, right? You need to get these keyboards, okay, synthesizers. You need to, as a producer, really invest in your sounds. There's a lot of software that's been developed that makes it easier to access those sounds. Like a good one, a very, very good one is Hypersonic. If you can find yourself hypersonic, you'll be able to create like those big orchestral sounds,
Okay.
and you have geez, like there are sounds for days on that program, right? But me, I'm a bit of an old school cat in the sense that I love synthesizers, I love keyboards. So invest in your samplers like the ASR 10. That's what these guys, that's what Justice League, that's what Rook uses to sample. Very, very dope sampler. It does amazing when it comes to making chopping the samples easier.
Okay.
Invest in your Triton, your Motif Rex, your Roland keyboards. Those for me like are like the elite. That's when you are a high-end music producer, when now you do ads, you know, you're doing the big
the real
end.
ones. No.
exactly. You're doing ads, you're doing movies, you know, things like that. I think that's when you start entering the big leagues. It's important to have a sound that's rich, a sound that won't be second guessed.
All right.
Especially if you're trying to recreate the music.
Okay, yes.
Okay, you need high-end sound, so please invest in that. Which brings me to drum kits, right? These drum kits, like, there are two special producers here in our country that really have mastered the art of recreating drums. So Justice League, more often than not, will recreate melodies and sounds and you know, things that are in the mid-range of, you know, their mixes. These two guys, right, by the name of Tweezy, by the name of Lunatic.
Shout out to Tweezy and Lunatic.
Both of them have very, very dope. I actually don't know whether their drum kits are still available online, but I hope they still are. And more so, I hope that their drum kits are now for sale, because when they dropped them, they were initially for free.
Okay.
And I downloaded Lunatic's drum kit, and like, yo man, my heart sank.
Why?
Because they're so dope.
So your heart sank because why? It was for free?
Yeah. He's supposed to sell those things, man. Those drum kits are so rich. You can tell that like he's passionate about recreating sounds.
Yes.
You know, and when you recreate, it's one thing to be able to recreate music from a piano, music from a guitar, but recreating drums, guys, that thing is hard. It's so hard, and I hope that the guys continue, okay, first and foremost, and I hope they get compensated for it, because it's a skill on its own, being able to, you know, bring these drums to the right frequency and to be able to make them so unique that you can distinctly hear that this is a Lunatic drum. Like you have to have like a certain ear. It's a talent, it's a gift, you know what I mean? Not everybody
can do it.
I'm 10 plus years in, and I can't say that I've got like a distinct drum kit that I would have, you know what I mean? So it's not something that everybody can do. So shout out to Lunatic and Tweezy. Please, like, go out there and support them. And I really hope that their sound is still available online.
All right, so speaking of drums, drum kits, there's something interesting that you said. Melody first, drums last.
Yes, so these guys, Justice League guys, because they are such melodic people like me.
Oh yeah. Lay your note though.
No, it was off. I know.
E pitch?
Yeah, no. The pitch is a bit off. But you know, thank God I can rely on instruments. You know. I don't need my voice. So Justice League, when they make the beats, they usually start with the melody.
Okay.
Right? And that excites me particularly because there are producers, there's a philosophy that other producers have where they encourage people to start with the drums first.
Why though?
Because they believe that it's important to start with the groove of the song first, and then you can pick up the melody from the groove.
Yeah.
But you see, I can't. For me, the melody is what will determine what the groove is.
All right.
You understand? But like I'm saying, Battle Cat, for instance, the guy who I actually learned like intensively on how to make beats, he used to start with the drums. And if you listen to that guy's music, you'll understand that like he's no joke. You know what I mean? He's also like a sample king. Like he knows how to sample through and through. I just don't get it. Like I literally watch him do it, and it'll just be a mystery on how he actually did it. With me, it's always melody first. If I can tell that a melody is going ding 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 ding, then I know my drums must jump at that as well. You know what I mean? Whereas they start the drums with
I get you.
and then do it the other way around, and it's like, wow, this is incredible. Yeah. So it's just a relief for me that I'm not the only weird one.
Wonderfully weird by the sounds of things.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not the only one that prefers to start with the melodies, right?
Right. So in the bio that I was reading earlier on, we spoke about how Justice League worked with Mary J. Blige.
Yes.
And there's a beautiful story that you want to tell me.
Yes. So there's a song that these guys did that didn't make it onto the album, on Mary J. Blige's album. So for those that don't know, the Breakthrough won a Grammy.
Yes, in 2005.
Yes. It won a Grammy. So these guys were frustrated because no one believed that they had replayed the sample. They were so good, they were so precise in capturing that sample that Mary J. Blige's label was like, no,
can't be.
We don't want to take that risk. And in hindsight, it was a good call.
Okay.
Because things like that can work against you in winning a Grammy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Things like that, not being able to properly declare or have like some scandal that goes around, you know, your album.
Yeah.
And and the beautiful thing is, at least they were able to produce other songs on the album, which gained them the accolade.
Right.
But you have to give them the props that they deserve, because they were so on point with it that even the label wasn't sure.
That's incredible.
It's very incredible. Like I as a person who's a sample head, like I love the fact that people can get to a mastery level that would confuse the ear.
Wow.
You know?
All right, so we've got 2 minutes before we have to take a quick money break.
Yes.
There's something that you need to tell me about Ableton and FL Studio.
Oh, yes. You know who it reminds me of? It reminds me of the big homie Amu.
Okay.
So Amu, in a couple of his songs, he used to like really like talk down on them cats that used to use Fruity Loops.
Okay.
You know, there was this OG talk of, you know, that's not like how you make real music. You know, you don't use Fruity Loops and whatever. But shout out to the big homie, you know, because he quickly got to realize that, you know, it's not necessarily about the sequence, you know, the sequencer that you use. It's about the ear, you know. And Rook, a member of Justice League, was exactly the same. He used to properly talk down on these softwares, like, oh, he was a hardware guy. And you know, me and hardware,
I know this chat.
me and hardware conversations, we don't vibe, you know. And I just want to also reiterate that it's so important as a producer to have an open mind. You cannot dismiss anything that looks or that comes across as unfamiliar to you.
Right.
You know, with all the love and with all the respect, I think it's important to not limit yourself in you discovering new ways of making music.
All right, I love that. That's where we're going to hold it for now. We're going to take a quick money break, and then we're going to play you some Maybach music, and then we're going to come back and wrap it up. Wow, 10 minutes. It flew by mad quick. Okay, we're going to wrap it up quick, fast. The producer spotlight, Justice League. And I think it's important for us to have a money talk.
It's important to have a money talk because at the end of the day, the biggest problem that we have amongst music producers is the fact that they so often get neglected. I saw a tweet the other day from my man PH. And he was pretty much talking about the same thing, that how can he be such an instrumental and contributor of South African hip hop and still have to worry about rent. Okay, and it's a conversation that breaks my heart, because at the end of the day, it's all about your circle. It's all about the people that you do business with. You know, how far they willing to include you in the things that they do. Okay, my stance has always been the same, and in order for you to be self-sufficient, in order for you to continue to do what you love, you have to be able to branch out and do other things.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of us have different philosophies. I know there are people out there, there are producers out there that advocate for just doing that.
Yeah.
You can produce and you can do whatever you do, and I'm okay with that. But for me personally, understanding the demographic that is here in our country specifically, I know that all of us want to be in studio 24/7. We want to make music all the time, but it's just not realistic.
It's not feasible right now.
And so my big shout out goes to Rook of Justice League, who has been very vocal about this topic. You know, even when you look at the Twitter, that he's been making a lot of sometimes controversial statements about getting producers paid, but it's a very important thing. You have to be able to include your producers, because they are the engine of the music business. They are, without them, this thing doesn't
run, doesn't move.
It doesn't move. You understand? And it's important to have voices like that. You know, you would think that because Justice League are so successful, they wouldn't even be concerned about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So big shout out to Justice League to have a brand that stands for the rights of music producers.
I love that. 2 minutes to go. Where are we wrapping up?
Okay. The pros and cons of going solo. So there is always this danger, okay, of being in a producer group, where there will be someone who shines, and there will be somebody who will come across as the weakest link. And as we will see next week, I want us to talk about the Neptunes next week, right?
Oh yeah.
So we will see that there sometimes the danger of going solo is that it'll completely kill everybody else. Okay, maybe they might still be making music, the other group members, they might still be making music, but it won't be as impactful as the next. Okay, so be careful, producers, okay, group producers, be careful that you, like, when you go solo or when you start to produce by yourself, just be careful that it doesn't overshadow the other guys. Not that it'll be your fault or the onus is on you so that this thing doesn't happen, right? It's important, Justin, to be in constant communication, to know where you can lend a hand. You guys may not be partners anymore in creating the music, but you should always be partners in, you know, making sure that everyone is okay.
I think that's where we can wrap it up for this evening. Shout out to you, Mr. Instro. It was really dope to do this again.
Appreciate it.
Looking forward to next week. It's the producer spotlight every Wednesday, 6:30 to 7:30. We're going to close with DJ Khaled, a joint called Hip Hop, featuring Scarface, Nas, and DJ Premier. Peace.
The Producer Spotlight with Mr. Instro.
You can be a beat maker and not be a music producer. But when you're a music producer, you don't have to be a beat maker.
Only on the Element